Yeah. Hello. We're back. We're back at it with another live stream. How's everybody doing? I have a wedding that I need to go ahead and export and send to my couple. I just got it back from outsourcing the wedding edits and everything. So I figured I would just live stream so y'all could hang out with me while I'm doing everything. I always love to kind of show my own process and how everything's going and just all that good stuff. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. We'll see whoever gets to jump in and catch this live stream. I know sometimes I'm just out of the blue with a live stream, but yeah, hope everyone's doing well. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. I got my second vaccine shot a couple of days ago, so I'm not really firing on all cylinders at the moment. I'm a little tired, honestly. But yeah, I just batch recorded some videos, so I'm feeling good. And now I get to export this wedding and get that out of the way. And then I have a wedding coming up in New York this weekend. So, you know, busy, doing good. Things are going well. Getting that working, just the usual. Looking into getting the wedding photography in Ireland when it becomes safer to do so. Awesome. Nice. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. Basically, all I'm doing is coming in, making sure the edits look good. Because again, I outsourced this wedding, so someone else edited it using my own preset. And now I'm just going through and tweaking it and making sure everything is up to my caliber. Obviously, if someone else edits your wedding, sometimes it just comes back and it's not, you know, exactly how you would want it. Currently editing my second wedding. Awesome. Hey sir, I'm not sure which Fuji to buy, X-T3 or X-T4. It's honestly, it is a really hard choice. Personally, I prefer the X-T3 mainly because of the tilt screen in the back. I find that much more useful for stills. Now, if you want to hybrid shoot more and do video as well, I'd say get the X-T4. The X-T4 does have some advantages in stills over the X-T3, but again, I just still prefer the X-T3. So that, I know that doesn't really answer your question. It's hard because the X-T4 has like the super silent shutter, the super fast shutter, way better battery life, and it has IBIS, which is give or take when it comes to stills. But when it comes to video, the X-T4, if you're gonna do like both photo and video, you'll want to go with the X-T4. Yeah, some of these edits are like, they're too hot, and the person editing, they didn't put enough magenta in. Y'all know how I love my magenta. Like magenta all day. I'm about that life. But yeah, for the most part, these look good. Oh, that's another thing too. I don't have the editor do any black and whites, so if I want black and whites, I have to come through and kind of put those in myself. Hi from Guam. Hello, welcome to the stream. I do stills only. Yeah, I really like the X-T3. I really do. And also too, like, you know, since the X-T3 is not the newest camera, you can find good deals on it. You can get it used. Also, I gotta fix stuff like this here. A little dribble on her dress. So many emails, oh my goodness. Yeah, if it's easy to fix, I'll go ahead and do stuff like this, but usually I don't concern myself with that stuff so much. But it's an easy fix, may as well get it in there. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this section pretty much looks good. Again, some of these shots are a little exposed, kind of hot. Cool. And generally after I finish a section and it looks good to me, I'll export it So for my export settings, I go into the folder of the couple, and then it goes into a subfolder of the section of the day. After that, I don't resize it. Resolution is 300 ppi. Sharpening for screen is low, and then I export into exposure because that's where I do all my sharpening and grain. What's your opinion on Sony's for wedding? Because they're kind of like Fujifilm cameras. They're the only thing that they're kind of like Fujifilm cameras is the fact that did it just do that one photo? Yeah. Great job. I'm supposed to select everything. Yeah, the only way it's like Fujifilm is the fact that they're all mirrorless. Other than that, they're all very different. I haven't had any of the newer mirrorless cameras from Nikon yet, but I've had seconds who shoot Sony, and I mean, the photos look good. Other than that, I don't really know too much about the cameras. So at the end of the day, I really think whatever camera works best for you and your own workflow really is all that matters. So glad to be able to make it back to another stream. Awesome stream. Thanks for coming along. I'll be exporting while I'm streaming, and my computer freaks out a little bit while I do that. So hopefully this is still, you know, you can still hang out and, you know, actually enjoy the stream. But question, what would you change or what would you charge for 1 hour elopement style photography where you are only shooting a 1 hour ceremony? It honestly, it really depends on your business and what caliber your business is at for how much you can charge. It kind of ranges, because like for me, like I'm charging a fair bit for elopements, whereas some people may just charge a couple hundred. So I can't really answer that. It really depends on how long you've been doing wedding photography. So there goes everything exported into exposure. And then I select everything and add my sharpening and grain preset. And then I have one black and white, my black and white grain preset. And that's pretty much it. From there, everything is done nice and tack sharp. I love sharpening at the JPEG stage. I feel like everything looks so much more crisp. So crisp. And we save that. Love your style of teaching through your videos. New subscriber. Awesome. Thank you for hanging out on the channel. Glad you're enjoying everything. The boy Rodney up in the house. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Did a Father's Day shoot back at the spot you shot in Alexandria. Oh, awesome. Nice. Yeah, that area was nice. Here, let me see if there's anything else I can close that might help my computer not freak out as much. I feel like I have too much open. Maybe not though. Anytime I try to export anything, everything's like, oh no. Make it stop. Howdy partner, hello. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I had these all outsourced, and yeah, everything is just way too green. I'm like heavy-handed on magenta. Honestly, it's almost too much sometimes. Like my whole photos have a very magenta look to them. I like it, but probably because you're not sharpening in Lightroom, not because it's a JPEG. No, maybe both. I'm not sure actually. Like, I'm really not sure if it's because it's not in Lightroom or if it's because it's JPEG stage, or maybe both. Why have you not cropped the white on the girl in the pink dress? Oh, I just left it there. It's whatever. I mean, yeah, it was definitely kind of annoying, but I'm not gonna crop every single photo. And see, that's like, that's again, people are, wow, how can you edit so fast? Because I don't sit there and nitpick. Like, if it's not destroying the whole photo, it's whatever. Because to have to come through every single photo and crop that. Also, too, just where she was standing, I already have a Corona bottle and what's this, like a White Claw, it looks like, and like a little fire starter phone and a hand sanitizer. Like, I got all this crap in the background anyway, you know, like, so to nitpick this one thing, that's just a waste of time at that point. So you have to kind of, especially with wedding photography, you have to pick and choose your battles. You can't be like, I need every photo to look absolutely perfect. Well, then you're gonna take 50 years to edit your photos. That's just what it is. Ugh, so green. Totally missed the focus. But that's because everyone just kind of came running into the room and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what's happening. That boat was awesome. Yeah, they rode in on a boat to the reception. I got a drone too, and I was able to drone like over them while they were like in the boat. It was really cool. Yeah, look how green that is. I can't. I don't even like these shots. I guess I'll leave them in there. Yeah, sometimes I get edits back from like outsourcing. I'm like, how did you think that looked good? Like, look at that. It's like so green. But again, I'm heavy-handed on magenta, so I get like triggered by green. When stuff is way too green, I'm just like, ah! Oh, I'm getting food requests from my wife. Gotta make sure I answer. How much time off do you take a year? So honestly, I feel like my whole life is time off. And I know that might sound crazy, but so while I still shoot weddings, because I've been focusing on YouTube more, I've actually been taking less weddings. So because of that, my day-to-day, which honestly, if y'all want to see a video like a day in the life or just like what I do as a self-employed person, I definitely can make a video like that. But my day-to-day is generally coming up with video ideas, recording videos, editing videos, and then hanging out with my family. Sometimes it's editing wedding photos, but a lot of times I outsource my weddings at this point because I want to focus more on YouTube. So yeah, I feel like I only work maybe 5 hours each day, if even. Because I spend a lot of time, I work out in the mornings. So I started, that's recent. So I work out every morning. I think I don't start actually working until like 11 o'clock every day. So I wake up, let's say 7, because I have 3 kids and they're all young, so they wake us up. So I wake up at like 7, work out till about 10, eat breakfast with the family real quick, and then start working. Work for maybe an hour, and then I'm back to making lunch again. And then I work a little bit off and on until maybe like 6 or 7-ish. So just because because that's my time frame of work, there's not really time off. You know, my days are so free forming that like I don't really need to technically take time off. I also take off every Sunday. So on Sundays, I don't book weddings. Like I literally, if a wedding couple hits me up for a Sunday wedding, I will tell them that I'm not free because I don't work on Sundays. I don't edit on Sunday. I don't do emails on Sunday. I don't do anything on Sunday. So between the fact that I work barely 5 hours in a week sometimes, or not 5 hours in a week, 5 hours a day sometimes, and also take Sundays off, like I don't really feel like I need time off, because my time is so like spread out nicely that like I just feel like I always have time off, which is nice. Also, just the way weddings have been recently, I tend to I haven't been booking too many weddings, and again, because I'm focusing on YouTube, I don't mind that I'm not booking so many weddings. So there'll be months where like I had like 2 weddings this month, and that's it, you know, and then I don't have a wedding next month, I think. So when I have those months where I have no weddings, that also feels like time off, because making videos, not that it's easy work, but it's definitely easier than doing a wedding. Weddings are just so trying, you know, they're physically just, it's a lot. It's so much. Yes, do a day in a life. Yeah, I got to do one. Thanks for responding. A day in a life would be awesome. 100% would like to see. Awesome. Yeah, I got to do one, because especially sometimes, you know, working for yourself looks like this whole beautiful thing, but it has its cons to it as well. You know, having a day job is awesome. It really is. Like, people act like starting your own business is like the best thing you could ever do for yourself, but having a day job has so many pros to it. It really depends on the person and what you're into and kind of how you can approach life and what works better for you. Because for me, like, when I was working at Squarespace and doing weddings, like, I was gone all the time. I would have to leave first thing in the morning to commute to work. So, you know, my daughter, like, I didn't get to see her. And then on the weekends, I was either shooting a wedding or I would come home from Squarespace and need to edit. So, like, I was always working. Also, that's a whole 8 hours that I, like, had to be gone. Now, even if I have days where I'm like, okay, daddy has to really work, at least I can come down and have dinner with them, or I can come down and have lunch with them. You know, like, they see me all day, all the time. They know I'm there. If something cool happens or like someone takes their first step, I can step away and go see. So for me, self-employment works for that. I'm shooting my first wedding in September. Really looking forward to it. Awesome. Yeah, you're gonna do great. Jamaica in the house. Exposed, only working 5 hours a week. Yeah, actually, I do nothing. I wish I could do 5 hours a week. Honestly, like, not that I'm a workaholic, but I would be so bored. Like, I actually enjoy working, so I don't know what I would do with myself if I only worked 5 hours a week. Oh, go on vacation. I don't know, man. That's boring. I want to do stuff. I like doing stuff. Maybe a Facebook group with your subscribers probably would allow us to help each other. Oh, that'd be cool. I do, yeah. So I keep getting so many questions about Patreon. Oh, where's your Patreon? And so I canceled it because, like, nothing was happening on there. I would post stuff and no one would watch it, and it just felt like I was putting in a lot of work for nothing. And, you know, again, it's not about the money. If I'm gonna make the videos, I want you all to see them and learn from them, you know? So since nothing was really happening, I was just kind of like, yeah. Like, I can't stress myself out to make these videos, and then no one cares, you know? Ugh, so green. Shooting my first paid wedding next Saturday. Awesome. So many people shooting their first weddings. I'm excited. Is your wife at crib as well during the day to assist? Yeah. So generally we have a very like traditional style household. So she generally takes care of the kids, and that's how she wanted it. So she stays home with the kids and then supports the business on the back end, and then I bring in all the money and do all the like video recording and YouTube and all that stuff, and we kind of work it that way. Don't mean to get so personal. I just have a similar dynamic with kids. Yeah, and it's a lot like, you know, having 4 kids. It's the only way we can really hold down the house, which is, you know, having her take care of the kids mainly, and then me kind of help. Yeah, that photo is way too out of focus. I can't take it. But yeah, pretty traditional dynamic, pretty good stuff. I bring in all the income. So that's another thing. Sometimes I know people get a little annoyed with all the sponsored videos, but I'm literally the only income in the household. And I have 3 kids and 1 on the way. You know, like, I need to make money. This is my job. But I'm really picky about my sponsors, and I don't try and just like, you know, have sponsors all the time just because. Also too, I thought about it, and I might make like a disclaimer video, but even those long form full wedding day videos, and everyone's like, wow man, this is so awesome, did you put like an hour-and-a-half video up for free? That's why I have sponsors. Like, because I could be selling that stuff and making a lot of money, but I want to be able to get information out too. So to make it even, I need sponsors. Pick any beginner flashes you recommend. Honestly, Godox anything. Godox is good. The one I use is great. Oh my goodness. OBS is like, why are you exporting and trying to stream at the same time? Teacher and I shoot in summers, and sometimes I'm down on myself. Oh yeah, I need to make a video about that, because especially if you're part-time. Okay, so if you don't want to be a main photographer and you just want to be a second, that's fine. I'm so down for that. That's more people should do it instead of starting their own business when they're really not a business-minded person. Just be a second photographer and make your money. He was saying he teaches school, but then also does weddings on the side. The perfect place to be with that is 5 to 10 weddings a year. I mean, when I was at Squarespace, I think the most I did in a year was 20 job, but you know, that's what it's like. It's okay to be like, I have 5 weddings this year. Cool. Bang them out, make them your best work ever, get your money, and then go back to your main job. Take that money and save it. Take that money and invest it back into the business. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Solid. Trying to get mine to stay at home. She's 16 years to her. And again, you know, my wife, she wanted it. So the moment we started having kids, that's what she was like, I'm gonna stay at home. And a lot of me being where I'm at today with the photography business was because of that. Because at the time I was at Squarespace, and you know, she got pregnant and she was like, I want to stay at home. And I was like, oh cool, well I need to get another job. And she was like, no, start a business. And then that's when I started doing photography. We based our whole household and how we run it off of my photography business and her staying at home. So it just works like that. Even on days like today, so she was like, okay, I'm gonna go hang out with a friend and I'm gonna take the kids with me. Days where she's like, I'm going somewhere and taking the kids means I need to bang out as many videos as I can, because the house is like absolutely quiet. There's no questions that it will be quiet. On days when they're home and I still need to make videos, it's very much like, hey, you know, daddy needs to record a video, so no screaming, please. And then maybe she'll put on like a Disney movie or something so they can watch that for a short amount of time so I can record a video real quick. And that's just how we work it. We just work together on everything. We just had our 4th kid as well. Awesome. Yeah, we're due in late September. So we'll see how that goes. 4 kids is a lot. I'm at working, hiding just to, like somewhere on your phone trying to watch the stream. Like, well. Need to get a sponsor to give this man a separate stream PC so he can export. Yes, yo. I was literally just thinking, I was like, it'd be great if I had another computer and that one could stream so I could just export on the thing. Chopped and screwed. Nice. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta export though. This is like actual work for me. I need to go ahead and get this done. Love being a second right now, bidding up portfolio. Yeah, being a second, it's good money. It's easy work. You know, on a Saturday, show up for 8 hours, do the good work. No editing on your side, just there it is. Boom. Here's the photos, and you're good to go. I'm on the hunt for a new laptop for editing photo work. Do you think new MacBook Air M1 will do just fine? The MacBook Air is questionable, but those M1 chips are impressive. I have a M1 Mac Mini, and I was surprised at how well it does. So the Air should be fine, especially if you're trying to not spend too much. But the Pro would be a better choice, just because I know it's a little bit faster than the Air. I should have videos coming up soon. I need to start filming this stuff, but I got the 12.9 inch M1 iPad Pro. Y'all, this is actually impressive. I'm about to edit some videos on it, and I think I'm gonna try and edit my next wedding on it that I just did. But yeah, it's crazy. The screen is nice. That XDR display is so good. Any else lagging? Yeah, the video's gonna lag because I'm exporting photos at the same time. What's your post-wedding delivery time? So I quote my couples 4 to 8 weeks. And generally I try my best to be closer to the 4 weeks. I think this one is pushing 5 to 6 weeks, which is why I need to go ahead and get this done. I don't like being over 4 weeks. Actually, the groom just hit me up and was like, hey man, checking in on the photos. That's when you know you took too long. If your couple's like, hey, how are things going? Ah, messed up. Took too long. Maybe I won't export anymore during the stream, and I'll just like finish up all the sections so I know. Yeah, I'm gonna stop exporting. After this one's done, I'm just gonna make sure each section looks good. I can export after I'm done streaming, because I plan on stopping streaming soon. Anyway, this was just a short little one. I like to get on here with you all, answer some questions while I'm doing work. So green. I'm on the fence about quitting my current job and doing photography full-time. Right now it's tough balancing both. Singing the cubicle, yeah. Balancing both is probably the worst. Like I did it for 4 years, and I made a video about it, but I'm about to make another video just to really like hammer it home for people. You know, like this stuff is not easy. And I know sometimes like you may see someone like me in the position I'm in and be like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like he does YouTube, he probably gets so much stuff for free and and wow, he's a wedding photographer and he's been doing it for so long. 4 years, four years of my wedding photography business, I had a day job at the same time of doing wedding photography. Like I said, the max I got to at one point was like 20-25 weddings in a year, and also having a day job. And mind you, I was a manager. Like, I wasn't just an employee. So like, there was stuff I had to do, and I had to be on top of stuff because I had other people under me, and I can't tell them they're doing their job bad but then also be showing up late to work. Like, people who worked with me can remember me like bringing in my cameras on the day of, because I had like a session, like an engagement session that evening. So I would do my work and then leave, like literally strap up and leave and go do a session. Like 4 years of that before I was able to quit my day job. So it does take a grind to get there. I always know that's like, not everyone wants to hear that, but yeah, it's a grind. All right, that's gonna be the last thing I export. We're just gonna go through and fix the photos and make sure they look okay. Hi, I'm booking weddings now and events this year. Awesome. Liking your channel for inspiration. Good with my camera setups. Now just exploring custom white balance. Awesome. So far I've been on auto. Which do you prefer? I generally shoot auto white balance as well. The only time that I switch is if for some reason... Why is this Christmas music? This happens every time. Where is this song? Where is it? Where are you? Can I delete it from up here? Can I get rid of it? Remove from playlist. Every time I'm like, bro, why is there Christmas music? I love myself some good Christmas music, but I need to be in the actual Christmas mood, you know? But yeah, I shoot auto white balance most of the time. The only time I'll switch is if in camera, for some reason, it's like coming into blue or something and it just looks wrong. If it looks wrong in camera, then I'm gonna shoot Kelvin. These look good for the most part. How many photos do you usually deliver to your clients? So I quote an average of 650. It ranges usually between like 508 to 900. These are getting borderline too green again. That's what we need to hear. Everyone's like, the Christmas music, bring it back. Christmas in June. I think the music has become iconic. John plays Christmas music in the summer. It's great. Yeah, this editor kind of dropped the ball on the magenta. But again, this is like the second time they've edited my photos, so that's just kind of a part of it. Hello, always watch your video on YouTube. All the way from Malaysia. Awesome. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the stream. Streams are usually pretty low-key. We just kind of hang out while I'm working, all that good stuff. How did you start to set your prices? I'm looking to start my own, but so pricing is always the whole ordeal. Generally what I usually do when I do pricing is, first off, you think of an hourly rate that you'd like to make, but don't be crazy about it. If you're just starting, remember, experience is the main point. Like, you can only really charge more if you have the experience for it. But so I would set my hourly rate, you know, kind of how much I'd like to make per hour. Then you want to add in any editing time. So if you're editing, charge for that as well. And then last but not least, add in any like overhead you might have. So if you provide albums and stuff, and make sure you mark all that stuff up too. So if you purchase an album for your couple that's $100, like charge them $250 or something. And then after all that, add it up, see what you get, and then also compare to everyone else in your market. So in your area, compare it to the people who are super high end and charge a whole bunch, and reference it with the people who charge like nothing, and then see if you're in range. And if you're in range and you think your experience merits that amount of money you're charging, then you're good, and you kind of find your rate from there. So yeah, on these shots, because they're backlit, I mean the lighting's not the greatest. Like fill light would have been the real way to go, but since that's not what I did, I'm just gonna suck the shadows out so that they're lit. How's business during the pandemic? It has been really well, actually. It obviously slowed down a lot, but YouTube has been what kind of saved that on my end. This song is mad loud. We need to hear the business grind info. But the music is nice too. Just like ball players or successful people in general, everybody wants the glory, but no one wants to put in the grind. Exactly. That's how it is for anything. It's the same thing, like because I've been really into fitness recently. Like you look at these guys who bodybuild, it's like, oh man, their muscles are so huge. It took them a long time and a lot of hard work to even get their muscles to look like that, because no one's body looks like that naturally. You know what I mean? Like you got to do something to your body to make it be like, oh wait, I need to make bigger muscles. But again, everyone thinks that kind of stuff comes easily, or like, you know, I've put myself on a caloric deficit recently, so I like weigh all my food and all that. You know, people, oh man, I could never do that. Well, then you're not gonna lose weight. I've lost 30 pounds in like a couple of months, and it's been enjoyable because I can eat whatever I want to. I just have to make sure I'm still in my calorie count. So it's the same thing with photography. Like, you gotta grind for what makes sense. It took 4 years before I could quit my day job and take the risk to see if I could do wedding photography. And even when I did that and took the risk, there was no guarantee whatsoever because I moved markets. So I went from New York, where I started, to North Carolina with no clientele, no work from the North Carolina area at all. Like, I straight leap of faith was like, okay, we're gonna quit Squarespace and see if I can make this work. And if not, then I'll find another job. And kind of went from there. It was scary. I had like 2 kids at that point when I just dipped from the day job. So it's possible. Natural feels for Capture One, please. It's coming. It's coming soon. Actually, the next live stream I do, the next scheduled live stream, is gonna be like the final test for Capture One Natural Feels. And then after that, I'm probably gonna release it. Hi everyone, happy Xmas. Hey, can you edit one from beginning? Nope, I gotta get this stuff I gotta get this stuff delivered. So right now we're just watching me make sure these photos look correct since I had it outsourced. However, if you've ever seen me edit from the get, here, okay, I'll edit one for you. I'll edit one. I just did a wedding like last weekend. So this was the wedding. Actually, did I cull anything? Did I edit everything I culled already? Yeah, I edited most of this stuff already. But yeah, the way I edit, it's pretty quick. I have a preset that I created, which I also sell. I usually slap that boy on there real quick. Get my exposure where I want it. Add magenta, because I love magenta. And boom, there's a photo from the start. That's usually how I edit. That's my edit. It's fast. Because again, with wedding photography, you're editing thousands of photos. Zoom in on the photos. Let's get this. This will be a black and white. Are those Fuji files in Capture One so much better than Light? So this is all Lightroom. I've never had an issue. Everyone always like, oh, Lightroom and Fuji files. They've always been fine. But again, I don't sharpen in Lightroom. So one thing I don't know if you can see it over the stream, but like this looks super soft. You know, and it's like, whoa, what did you do to the photo? I didn't sharpen it at all. And there's a little bit of noise reduction happening on it, so it's super, super soft. But when I export it and then also add my sharpening and grain at the JPEG stage, the photos look really good. But yeah, this was an awesome wedding. Like I said, I just did this. This was like last weekend. What's your preference with Fuji, auto or manual white balance? I generally do auto. I only do manual if the camera is seeing things weird. Like if people's skin tones start looking wrong, then I'll shoot Kelvin. Yeah, I gotta get on that preset life, but also I don't edit much. Yeah, when you're not editing a lot, you can kind of take your time to edit, but when you're doing full-blown weddings and you got a bunch of photos to do, you need to be able to find a way to like get through it. What made you choose the perfume shot black and white? I generally love my detail shots to be black and white. Anything that's like very like close-up detail type stuff, like this, anything like that where it's just like details, is usually gonna be black and white. Oh man, did it? Yeah, like, oh no, that one's fun. So like close-ups of things, or generally like when the bride's getting in her dress, so I'll have her mom putting her dress on. Usually there's always like a shot like this. Oh yeah, you see I did it here. Oops. But you know, stuff like this where there's not really, the focal point is more the feeling of the photo, then I feel like it should be black and white. All right, let me get back to what I was doing, because this wedding needs to go ahead and get delivered. I think I was, yeah, up to this point somewhere. I also prefer the soft Lightroom look for Fuji RAWs. C1 is good, but it looks too good. Yeah, yeah. Also, I just feel like I can't be fast in Capture One. And obviously, that's probably because I just don't know the program as well, but... The editor's gonna get my feedback and be like, more magenta, bro? Are you serious? Yes. Magenta. I need it. I need it in my photos. More magenta. More. What lenses do you use the most? Probably my 23 f2 and my 35 f2. Those get the majority of the work. Like even all these family photos, this is all 35 f2. Love your content. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Love your stuff. If you're starting today, would you still be Fuji? Well, so when I started, I was Canon. And then someone showed me the truth of Fuji, and it changed my life forever. So if I was starting today, I don't know. That's actually really hard to answer. I didn't really know much of Fuji. I like never had heard of it or anything. So I don't know if I would have started Fuji, because again, it just, Fuji is so niche. If you don't really know photography at all, and unless you saw like an ad or something, then you just don't know Fuji. You probably never heard of them. And that's where I was. I just had never heard of them. What is happening here? Was that everything? Cool. Your black and whites need more magenta. More magenta! There's not enough magenta in these black and whites. Thanks for zooming in, by the way. I'm not sure if to get Fuji because of the less details. I mean, yeah, I feel like it's half and half. It's very negligible. Also, too, Lightroom just added that whole extra enhanced resolution or whatever. So, like, I don't know. Really, if you're not full frame, like, the only thing you're losing from full frame is more depth of field, really. Or more bokeh. But even then, like, look at this photo. You know, like, that's looks like bokeh to me. Looks pretty good. And this is the 35 f2. So I'm shooting it at like f2. I'm not even like, you know, like it's fine. It's fine. Where do you get your wedding leads from? Yeah, I was like, where do you get your legs from? I was like, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. My leads, as of right now, it's a lot of word of mouth and honestly YouTube. I started getting a lot of my leads from YouTube now. But that just shows you, like, if you show your best work, wherever you show your best work is where you're gonna get your leads. So right now, a lot of it is Instagram and YouTube. Nikon is really ticking me off. Thinking Fuji or Canon. Yeah, I'd love to try out some of those Canon mirrorless I'm curious about them just to see how they work. Cause yeah, when y'all submit, I've seen some of the files from when y'all submit like R6 stuff, and it looks good. Watching all the way from Zambia. Awesome. Welcome to the stream. Hashtag magenta man. Magenta. But do you see it? It's so green. It's so green. This is where I like my photos. Right in there. Magenta. Like on the like the very slither of being too much magenta. Hey John, do you recommend using the X-T3 for travel and family trips, or would you take a small? I would take something smaller. For that, the X-T30 all day. I love the X-T30 so much. And because it takes the same lenses and basically looks the same, like, it just makes sense. And it's tiny. You know, like, I can even have a setup like the X-T30 with the 56 on it. So I'm getting a nice, you know, 85 equivalent. And it's like, it's tiny. Like, look at it. It's tiny. Look at it. So small. Where's my X-T3? I don't even know. When I'm not shooting weddings, my cameras are just like in random places. And I can never find them. So when a wedding day comes up, I'm like, where are my cameras? But you know, look at that. Look at that setup. So the X-T3 works. Obviously, comparative to most cameras, the X-T3 is already small. But if you really, really want something tiny for travel, get an X-T30. Put like a 23 on that boy, and it's just like a little tiny, just cutie little camera. So good. And honestly too, like, this is legit. I could take this and do some real portraits and get some like really bomb work off of it. I've been thinking about for a long time doing like a full workflow, like a full mobile photo shoot workflow or something. So like taking the X-T30, shooting photos on it, importing it directly to an iPad, editing photos, and exporting directly to Instagram or something. Good morning, John. Hope you have an absolute blessed day. Thank you so much. When you were still shooting Canon, were you also adding a lot of magenta? You know, I probably was. I never stopped to think about that. My editing style was different then, but I'm pretty sure I was still heavy magenta. Now I'm kind of curious. Go back to my old work. Who is this? Oh, I got weddings. I don't even know who this stuff is. Let's see. Here's an old wedding I did. So back in the day, I shot the Canon 6D. I used to shoot, so yeah, you can see it here. You can see the magenta. I was about that magenta life. But yeah, like there's a little bit more depth to the photos, but that's about the only difference that I really feel from a full frame. Like nothing else feels like, oh man, I wish I had full frame. I'm not gonna front though. I really want to get that GFX 100S. That thing looks beastie. Yeah, this definitely is magenta heavy too. Yep, there goes hashtag magenta man. Wow, that is tiny. Is the menu on the X-T30 easier than the X-T3? They're basically the same. That's one thing I love about Fujifilm. Like, the menus across all their cameras are basically the same. So if you've ever shot Fujifilm, you can pick up another Fujifilm camera and feel totally comfortable in it, rather than it being like a different camera. So you're like, what is this? Greetings from Canada. Welcome to the stream. I've been in a creative funk for a while. Any way to help me snap out of it? That's always the hardest part. I found shooting stuff other than the main genre that you shoot kind of helps get the creative juices flowing. Why did it? I can't click the photos anymore. It won't let me go forward. It's just gonna stop there. There's definitely more photos. Why did it do that? Upgrading camera first or lenses first? Definitely lenses. Lenses make the biggest difference. They always do. The camera's great and all, but the lenses are what gonna really make that difference. What about 100E for weddings? You could definitely do it. I don't know about that single focal length and that being it, but it's possible. Like, it's very, very possible. Yep, always magenta. That was me. That was me always. I guess some things just never change. Magenta man. John, my confession today, I sold all my Fujifilm gears for the Nikon Z. Da-na-na. What have you done? Yeah, no, I'm really curious about Canon and Nikon's mirrorless. I've never used them. I haven't really seen too many of their files. But again, you know, whatever works, whatever gets the job done. Oh, that's it? Okay, cool. I think I was about here at this point. Yeah, every single one of these photos didn't have enough magenta. Ugh, Lightroom, why? Fixed lenses or zooms? That's personal choice. I'm definitely a fixed prime lens type of person, but I know a lot of people swear by zooms. I like primes, and I think it's a great way to learn because you know exactly, you know, what focal length you're at and how it's gonna look, rather than like having to guess. I also like, again, no offense to anyone, I feel like zoom lenses make you a little lazy as the photographer because you start getting used to just standing back and like being like meow 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 meow. Like with a prime lens, you have to like walk into your shot. You have to know exactly how you want the shot to look and move into it. You can't like think about it beforehand, or you can't be like, oh yeah, let me make sure the composition, like, no, you're like, and there's the composition. I know how far I need to be from the composition to make it what I want it to be. You know, like, there's no question. Like, if I have a 23 on and a shot's about to happen and I want it, like, I know how far I need to be to basically get the composition I want. Where's my magenta? Look at that. Look how green it is. I'm a black and white this one anyway though, but so green. No zoom lens slander. So green. Just upgraded from my 6D to the A7 III. Nice. Yeah, I love the 6D. It was a nice little camera. Ooh, what'd I do? Once I got my first lens, my first prime lens, I feel like it made me a better photographer. Yeah, that's how I feel overall. Again, no offense to zoom lenses. Zoom lenses are great and they do have their purpose, but I just feel like it makes you not be a part of what's happening as much. And you kind of just sit back and like, you know, just kind of take the photo. Rather than like being the photo. Also, again, over time, you just know exactly where you need to be for shots. You just know. You're like, if I want to frame it like this, I need to be here. And there it goes. Ah, so green. I think my preset lends itself towards magenta too, so that's another reason why I'm so heavy-handed on the magenta. So green! Look at how green it is. Walking to create your composition is why your feet will be killing at the end of the wedding day. Have you ever used Fuji GFX series for a wedding? I shot a small elopement with the GFX 100 and it was awesome. I was very surprised. And one thing everyone's like, oh, the GFX is gonna be so slow. And then I started on the 6D. Like the GFX 100S, as far as shutter and stuff, is basically the same as what the 6D was. You know, you don't have to have the fastest shutter in the world. Like you don't. As long as the focusing is good enough and like you can get the shot, then it's fine. Joke's on y'all, I'm at the wedding with a 60 to 600 Sigma getting shots from the parking lot. You're like, I don't even need to be there. Forget your wedding, I'm gonna stand outside. I got primes to take me out of my comfort zone since I actually have to get close to people. Do you get requests for color versions of black and white? Sometimes I do. And you know, then I'll just make a color version for them real quick. And I tell my couples that too. I'm like, if there's a photo that you like in color, let me know. Or if there's a photo that you like and you want it in black and white, just let me know. And I'll switch it for like these shots. Just you look at that contrast. It's, ugh, so good. These shots just feel like a black and white to me. Even this. Just gonna turn the whole gallery into black and white at this point. In the parking lot tailgating while shooting a wedding. Everything is so green. So green, I don't like it. I thought I had a black and white version of one of those photos. Okay, we'll make a we'll make a virtual copy because this dope is shot. It's like, wow, dyslexia. This shot is dope. What? I don't need it to sync right now. Is this even edited? Okay. It looks barely edited. Don't need the dress for the wedding if you're shooting in the parking lot. Y'all crazy. After switching to Nikon Z, no worms, no more worms. Yeah, what did this editor do? I love when we're like doing stuff. So we were like walking to another location, and I just figured I would take some shots, and you see her look right at the camera. So good. But it's like those natural looks at the camera. Like, I didn't tell her to do that. She just did it and I caught it. So y'all get to see my love affair with magenta. Ugh, I love these kind of shots with like the ring and kind of the flowers. This is the good old 50 f1. Fuji 50 f1. Look at that fall off. Ah! And again, that's the whole full frame. It's like, oh, my bokeh. I need to have full frame. Well, if you have an f1 lens on a crop sensor, it basically looks like full frame. So I hope you noticed me, John. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching. By the way, I learned a lot of things about wedding from your channel. Awesome. When will you launch the Capture One preset? I'm hoping to do it by next month. My next live stream where I'm editing y'all's photos is gonna be kind of like the final test. And then yeah, I hope to release it. I want to release it soon. Oh, here we go with not enough magenta again. She did a first look with her dad and her brother. These look fine. Yeah, that's fine. I actually knew the Fujifilm from you. Most people here are used to cameras that Nikon can. But I can see the Fuji are great. They're more of Sony's images. Hey JB, you think you can get away on a wedding day rolling with only a 35 and 85? Totally. I would rather have like, well, no, a 35 and 85. That's basically what I shoot mainly. I know I have some different focal lengths, but if I was gonna tell anyone to get like a couple of focal lengths they could get, it'd be 35 and 85. I finished these up already. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm almost done. Cool. It's almost about stopping time too. Yeah, once my Once my wife gets back with this food, I'm gonna go eat. Hey John, is the Canon 600D still good? Probably. Again, I've never personally used it, but in my opinion, the camera itself, it's more about the photographer and less about the camera itself. That's always my opinion. If the camera works for what you need it to and you can take great photos with it, then the camera still works. I don't think you have to upgrade for anything. Too much like upgrade mentality going on nowadays. These all still look good. I think I had already edited. Actually, yeah, I did most of these already. Is it still good using your preset without using Fujifilm camera? Yes, the preset works on all camera systems. Yeah, I did these already. I need to do the ceremony. Shot a wedding recently with a 35 and a 50. Happens to be all I have, so I was sort of forced into it. Yeah, a 35 and 50, those are a little too close in focal length, but a 35 and an 85 is like perfect because you can still get your close-in shots, but then you can also, you know, you're wide enough for when you need it. I'm gonna step in for my mans and say, everyone go hit that like button. Thank you. Your channel had helped me a lot. Awesome. Just picked up a 55 of 550D for fun seeds. Autofocus is bad in low light. Wouldn't hit a wedding with it unless I had to. Yeah. Hey, look, Mark Swan's in the house. Almost said good morning. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm afternoon now. How much did you charge for your first solo wedding? My first ever solo wedding, I charged $500. Now, consider it wasn't a full wedding day. Hold up, what's the wrench? Mark, you got you're an admin, bro. Or a moderator? Yeah, I made you a moderator, so you can do things now if you want to, I guess. You have powers. What lenses and cameras wouldn't you recommend for weddings? I don't know. I would have to personally use the camera for me to recommend not using it. But honestly, again, as long as the camera can handle focusing well, especially when you get to low light, that's kind of the only big factor. Other than that, most cameras are going to be fine, especially if you're talking more modern cameras. Like, modern cameras are just, they're good, you know, like they're good. None of them are really bad enough to like be like, oh, can't use this camera. But yeah, the low light focusing performance is really the point. I might have missed this earlier, but what is the aspect ratio you used for most of the shots? It's just the standard, what is it, 4:3 or whatever? I don't really change the aspect too much. Look at that 50 F1 doing that work. How many final enhanced photos do you usually deliver? It ranges. It's an average of 650, but it ranges between like 500 and 800 to 900. John Branch is so underrated. Thank you so much. Just shot our first wedding with a 35 and a 28 to 70 zoom, and it worked. Yep, that's really, I mean, really, 35 and 85 is like all you really need. Everything else is just like having it to have it. $50 F1 again. Lens is so good. I'd love to know how you organize with flags and stars and colors. Oh yeah, that's actually, I need to do a whole video on that. Should always be using max sensor aspect ratio. Even if you don't need it, flexibility is key. True. Very true, yeah. You shouldn't be cropping in camera. May as well just have the whole photo. It's not gonna hurt anybody to just have the whole photo. Ugh, Lightroom, why? What is your worst experience on the wedding day as a photographer? I have actually not really had any really bad experience on the day of. What did they do to my photo? Why? It was a TIFF. It was already edited, bro. Half the time, what I consider like a worst experience is just me being like nitpicky about stuff, and I wasn't able to get the shots that I wanted to, or the lighting wasn't what I wanted to, so I was mad. That's literally my worst stories. It's my own internal war. I've had a couple times where like planners or venue coordinators or somebody gives me an attitude. I've had that happen a couple of times, but other than that, that's been about it. I really don't have any like horror stories. I'm happy to be able to say that. Look at it, man. Magenta. Where is my magenta? It's too green. Everything is too green. A whole video on Lightroom plus catalog hygiene. Yeah, that would be hype. In tighter spaces, 24 and 50 mil is a killer combo. Yes. That's basically what I'm using, like, well, it's usually 35 and 50, but that's what I use for getting ready photos. So when you're in like a hotel and you don't have much space. What's your first ever camera and first camera? Cameras. What cameras? The first camera I had was the Canon 6D. That's what I started on. Is it possible to be successful without a second shooter? It is. The majority of the weddings I do without a second. This wedding you're looking at now, I didn't have a second. Most of the weddings I ever did when I first started, I didn't have a second. Honestly, the first, like, I want to say like 4 to 5 years of my career, it was rare that I had a second. Most of the time it was just me by myself. Ugh, so green. Have you ever tried film? Yes, I shoot a fair amount of film now. My film setup at the moment, the one that I use the most. So I got a, my friend had a Nikon N80 just sitting around at home. I think he said it was his dad's, so he gave it to me. But because Nikon's been using the same mount forever, I bought a Sigma 35 Art. So I got a new nice modern lens on it, and this thing, this setup right here, this is good stuff. I got a couple of scans back when I was using this lens setup. Let me see if I have any photos, because I can't remember if I have any actual photos from it that I would want to show on stream. Yeah, I don't. Actually, did I download that stuff? Oh no. What? Now I'm worried if I even have my film scans anymore. Huh. Now I gotta figure it out. I done messed myself up. Magenta madness. Hey John, any advice for newbies looking for ways to connect and learn with other photographers? Workshops. Find yourself some workshops to go to. Some in-person workshops are always good, and again, it gets you connected with other photographers. And once you start doing that, there's a lot to learn from. Age I started wedding photography, I was like, I want to say like 26, 28. Something. It was pretty late in life. Not late, but you know, like, it wasn't something that I had planned on doing at the start. So like, you know, I had been doing so many other things first. Bloop. Oh, Lightroom, come on. Awesome. I think the only place I need to look at now are the couple portraits. Which do you prefer, the shooting or editing? I kind of like both. I feel like fairly equally. This is too much exposure. Saturday will be my first wedding with 160 guests. Awesome. You're gonna do great. Couple portraits. Like, look at how green all this is. So green. Just discovered copy setting from previous photo. Oh yeah, that's what, again, I copy settings from like multiple, so I'll like, I don't know if it'll work here, but so green. You know, just straight up, these were all with the same lens, and just boom, sync settings, boom. Yeah, I don't know how they edited it. I didn't edit this stuff, so. Oh my goodness. Y'all, it's so green. What time of day did you shoot this wedding? This was a general wedding day, so I don't know what time it was. Ceremony was probably like 5 or 6. You can tell the sun's starting to go down in these shots. But yeah, it was a clear day. I hate clear days on wedding days. Every time it's a clear day, I'm mad. And so many weddings I get are clear days. I'm just like, man, yo, it's green. Oh my goodness. Did I miss focus? Yo, the 23 f2 at a long distance, I don't know. Sometimes it has me questioning life. Hey John, hello from Brazil. Hey, welcome to the stream. Ever had really bad weather when shooting? I have, and it is the worst. Will you be busy this summer? Not really. Especially down south, people ain't trying to get married that much in the summer. Cause it's too hot. It'd be so hot, y'all. Also, again, I talked about it before. I focus a lot on the YouTube now. So because a lot of my focus is on YouTube, I don't take as many weddings as I used to. So I'm trying to do like 5 to 10 at most. What is that? The XT4? Yeah, I've noticed the XT4 doesn't have a lot of magenta going on either, so that's half the problem too. Just shot an indoor in the middle of the park kind of wedding with no shade under midday sun. Ugh. Why do you hate clear days? It's too much direct sunlight. It just like, it's bad. So I'm always the guy like, you show up at a wedding and all the guests are like, oh, it's such a beautiful day. It's like a clear day. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, no, give me a little bit of cloud coverage. Again, clouds are like a softbox in the sky. Like your lighting's gonna look absolutely perfect if you have a slightly overcast day. Just slightly. It doesn't need to be dark or anything. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of overcast. That's all you need. Clear days just have, it's just too much. You get like, you know, the only time being clear is good is like here where it's like golden hour and the sun's going down and stuff, but anything before that, it's just mad annoying. It's too much light. People are squinting. So the whole day you're running around trying to find shade. Because that's the only way you're going to get like a nice flat light on your couple or whoever you're taking a photo of. Oh my God, so green. Who's your favorite photographer? I don't know if I have a favorite. I'm not very versed in photographers in general, which is bad. I need to like go study my own craft. Who are your photographic inspirations? So I've talked about them a lot, but Forged in the North, Ryan and Heidi, I absolutely love their work so much. Actually, is it? It's fine. With no second shooter, do you usually hire a lighting general assistant? I do not. Sometimes I have questioned having an assistant with me because it would be nice, but no, I literally do the wedding by myself. Again, a great example of this is the wedding I just finished. So this wedding I shot last weekend. So I did this wedding by myself. This was just me. Again, you have to really plan your day. You have to know what's happening, and you have to have a timeline so that you can tell your couple when you're going to be doing stuff. And again, I don't shoot off-camera flash, so I don't need a lighting assistant. And that's why, like, off-camera flash is great. And again, there's a time and place for it. But when you don't need off-camera flash, there's just so much stuff you don't have to deal with. Like a lighting assistant, I don't need a lighting assistant. My flashes are in the bag that are connected to my back. And when I need a flash, I plop the thing out and put it on my camera. So yeah, this was all by myself. This is like 5,000 photos. I even got all the details in. I got everything I needed. You know, got the couple getting ready, got all the details and stuff. Got some robe shots of the ladies. Would indies help on very sunny days? The only point for a photographer to use an indie filter is if you want to be able to shoot wide open. So like me using the 50 f1, if I want to go outside on a really bright day and shoot at f1, I would have to use an indie filter because my shutter speed can't even go fast enough and my ISO can't go low enough for me to still get a decent exposure and shoot at f1. That's the only reason you would need an indie filter. Other than that, dealing with people squinting and the lighting being harsh and having contrast all the time, you can't change that. That's just what you get from no cloud coverage. So again, I like overcast days because it's like a softbox rather than just direct light. I had my first shoot 2 weeks ago. There was one extra unofficial photographer kept. Oh my goodness. I hate when that happens. When people show up and they're like, I'm going to take photos too. And you're like, bro, go somewhere. Who are you? I have it in my contract that couples shouldn't have that happening at their wedding. So then they tell all their people, like, don't be coming up in here blocking my photographer. But yeah, so I did all this by myself. This was just me. Actually, even most of my full wedding day videos, I think I was by myself. You just have to really know how to cover stuff. What metering mode do you regularly shoot in? I can't remember the name of all the photometry or whatever. It's the one where it's center weighted and also everything around it. I'm forgetting the name. I have a video I just shot. I need to finish it up, but I talked about one of these photos that I got in this wedding. But yeah, even these side shots, I got all this by myself. That was me. There was no second photographer. It was just me. You just have to know the run of a wedding day. So again, if you're newer, it's a little scary doing it by yourself. Unless you really, really know what you're doing. Like, you have to know. Yeah, this shot was so good. So good. If you use the electronic shutter, you can set this. Yeah, the electronic shutter, I could do it without an ND filter, because then I can make the shutter speed like 500 billion. Wide open plus long exposures. Only real reason to grab NDs as a photographer. Yep, exactly. There's really, photographers and NDs, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, there's literally no reason to need it. So for photos, I never used an ND, just for videos. Yeah. This is Lightroom, not Capture One. Do you think you will make a video on how you shoot your YouTube videos? I do. So what I want to do for YouTube is I want to do like a YouTube week where I just talk about YouTube topics and just release a whole bunch of videos in 1 week on how I do YouTube and handle it and stuff like that. We just encountered a woman in the wild advising people to tell their photographer it's an anniversary or a regular portrait session. Wow, even though it's a wedding? Wow. That's why I hit people off with how many hours do you need? The hours is all I care about. Cause yeah, I don't, so if it's like an elopement and it's only a couple hours, I don't really charge any differently if it was like an anniversary. So for me, at least, that wouldn't really affect me. Unless they were like trying to tell me it was only 2 hours and it was a full wedding day. That's a different story. Because I'd be like, bro, you paid me for 2 hours, so I'll take photos for 2 hours and I'm dipping. Unless you want to pay my rate for staying longer at a wedding day, because I'm not about to do that. Can you see atoms with the electronic shutter? Shot our first wedding this weekend, and the aunt was all over the place taking. Yeah, there's usually always like an aunt or a mom that's just like overstepping everything, and you have to be like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I got this. We're good. They paid me. I'm a professional. I've been doing it for years. I can do it. I'm fine. The randoms with phones is classically annoying. Yeah, that's like one of the #1 annoyances to deal with as a wedding photographer. Is everyone like, I got my phone. I'm taking pictures. Did he edit this too? Oh no, this is a DNG, so that's fine. But didn't I could have swore I made a TIFF, but I guess I didn't. So obviously this is a Brenizer. And I combined it and edited it, but I didn't finalize it because I need to fill in this. Also, it's a little too fisheye for my liking, so this is when I would go into Photoshop. Hi John, love your channel. Any tips for Lightroom for a semi-newbie? Unfortunately, the way Lightroom is, there's really no tips. I would just have to sit you down and like teach Lightroom. It's just kind of like that. Do you always have time to shoot both the bride and the groom's getting ready photos when you're solo? If so, what's your usual approach? Yeah, so I do have time to do both of their getting ready, but the main reason that is because I write the timeline for especially like the start of the day. And when I do that, I usually make the guy get ready pretty early. Now, again, for the groom, and a lot of times like guys don't take very long to get dressed. You know, it's literally like pants, shirt, tie, hooray. And that's why I'll do them first. So I'll come and tell them like, hey, We're gonna take photos of you getting ready, take the photos, it'll be like 15 minutes max. And then after that point, if you have time before the ceremony, you can honestly just undress. Like, we only got dressed for the photos, and then they can just chill and I'm done. And then after that, then I'll go to the bride. I spend most of the time with the bride because not only does she have more going on anyway, but if anybody's gonna run late, it's gonna be the bride. And it's not even just the bride, but like sometimes there's like 10 bridesmaids and they only hired one makeup artist. So then makeup takes forever, which is not the makeup artist's fault. It's just, you can't do that many faces by yourself. You know, like, so if anyone's running late, it's gonna be the ladies. So I spend more time with them and I get the guys out of the way so that I know like everything's gonna be smooth. I guess in a way there's always a second there's always a second photographer at every wedding because there's someone in the back. Okay, so this is kind of fisheye. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take this corner and I'm gonna hit it off with that content aware fill, and it's just gonna bloop. Go ahead. Come on. Ta-da! Okay, and then I always forget where it is because I don't have to do this often. Yeah, then I go to lens correction. And then inside of lens correction, I try to make it not look as fisheye. 10 out of 10 times his hair and make, yeah. Oh my God. Every time hair and makeup takes forever. And again, sometimes it's not their fault because the couple will be like, oh yeah, I just hired one makeup artist and one hair person and I have like 7 people who need hair and makeup. It's just like, y'all, they can't do all that. Like, get a team of people. Get a team of people to do y'all's faces. Cause if, and then they always plan it where like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get ready between this, and it's always so short, and you're like, no, no, it's not happening. Boys being boys. Be like, give me a call. Okay, I'm ready for the wedding. And that's it. All right, so here's my photo. I want to zoom out so I can see the whole thing. And then we're not going to do auto correction. We're going to go into custom, and I'm just going to see if I can make it not look so fisheye without destroying the whole photo. That's probably as good as it's gonna get without it starting to look weird.
Let's get started.
Cause yeah, the moment the inside starts bowing in, then it starts getting weird. That looks good though. Do you have a wedding contract template that you would be willing to share with us? I found this to be a hard thing. I don't have a template, but yeah, that's definitely one of the bigger points. Yeah, that helped out some. It's not as fisheye. Yeah, that's much better. Save. Good old giant brainizer. What? Oh no. I was on the wrong thing. There we go. But I think the Lawtog, it's like the lawtog.com or something. They have good templates that you can buy and start from. There's also Legal Page. She has good stuff too. Come on, Photoshop, you can do it. It's like, bro, this photo's huge. Oh. Sound like someone's about to get into an accident. There we go. Cool. So there it is. Here, let's compare it to the other version of it. So you see, it's not like a life-changing difference, but you see how it doesn't look as fisheye anymore. The top is the one that I straightened out a bit. The bottom is the one that looks very fisheye. Honeybook has a decent contract sample. True. Any recommendations for a good drive to add photos to in addition to one that I have on my computer? I've always been a fan of G drives for external hard drives. That's always a good option. But yeah, I'm a creature of habit, so for the most part, I just use the same drives I've been using forever. When you miss the focus. What were those contract template sites again? So green. So green. So green. Y'all, I'm hungry. I'm like for real hungry. I didn't realize how hungry I was until like 2 seconds ago. The Law Tog, yeah, the Law Tog, they have some good stuff. Oh yeah, this the enhanced version of a photo, and it's like huge for reasons unknown. Lightroom's like, oh yeah, you can enhance your photos. And see, now shooting crop, it's like, okay, whatever. I can just make it an enhanced photo and make it huge. Man, they're like fixing up the apartment next to me, or the townhome, and it's just so loud. I would love to get rid of all these bugs, but my life is just not. Cool, I think that's it. I think I did all the sections. I went through and checked them all. So now we got the whole wedding nice and ready to go. All I gotta do is export, which I'm not gonna do on the stream because it makes my stream freak out. What external hard drive do you recommend? Yeah, so far I've been using G drive. They're my favorite. As a successful crop sensor wedding photographer, what would you say to those thinking they need full frame to be successful? You don't? That's what I would say. I mean, really, like, full frame is not gonna make you any better. It won't, you know? Honestly, shooting crop sensor will make you better because you have to know exactly what you're doing to get what you need. A lot of people will be quick to be like, oh, I shot crop sensor and I couldn't get enough light, or I couldn't do this or that, or I couldn't do, well, yeah, because you weren't looking for the light. You know, Reggie B Photo talks about it all the time. Like, having less light or no light doesn't mean having bad light. You can still get good light. regardless. See, I feel like using a crop sensor makes you really have to understand how to get the light good so that your camera can take the photo, rather than just using your camera as a crutch and being like, wow, this camera's so great because I can put it at 15 billion ISO and it looks good. You shouldn't have to go that high on your ISO. Like, you shouldn't. There are extremely rare cases where you will need that. But for the most part, you should never be having to push your camera up that hard on the ISO. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't. If you need more light, that's what flashes are for. I don't know what. I always hate that when a new camera comes out and it has an ISO range of like 250 to 5 billion. Yes, ISO. Crank it up. Look, there's no grain. Whoa! I'm gonna shoot at 5 billion ISO every day. I just like. Full frame isn't a requirement for success. If you know your gear and know what you need to do to get the shot right, you'll be exactly. And then, if you like the advantages or the look that you get from full frame, that's fine. I just hate how there's such a like mentality that like you have to have full frame, like it gives you something more, because it doesn't. A photographer needs to understand light, they need to understand their camera, and they need to understand how to compose well and to use the light to make a good photo, how to capture a sharp shot, how to get focus. That's what a photographer needs to know. All of that will make you successful. And then afterwards, you can start getting into like, wow, full frame. And because at the end of the day, a camera takes photos. And that's all that matters. You know, I could go from crop sensor to full frame and my stuff will look the same. It's not going to change much. And if y'all saw the photos, you wouldn't be like, oh my God, they're so much better because he's shooting full frame now. Like, no. So yeah, that's what I would say. I would rant forever to anyone who thinks they need to have full frame to be successful. Because again, like I said, like GFX 100S, I would love to shoot it. And when I used the 100, it was great, but it didn't make my photos any better. You know, it didn't make me any better. Like, it didn't, you know, it still looked like my photos with, again, a little bit more resolution and a little bit more depth of field, and that was about it. But that's like nitpicky stuff. No one looks at photos like that except for other photographers. And honestly, the photographers that look at it like that, I don't know, there must be something wrong with it. I don't look at a photo and be like, I wonder if that was full frame or if it was crop sensor. Like, I don't care. It was a dope shot. I don't care what you shot it on. You know, if it was on your iPhone, if the shot's dope, it's a good photo. Hey John, just purchased the Fujifilm camera, the XE4. Did my first shoot with it, got home and tried to open them in Lightroom, but it says wasn't able to read them. Are you totally up to date on your Lightroom? Because it should be able to read them. I don't use any converters. I get that question a lot. I just go straight into Lightroom, no conversion, nothing, just straight up import and it works fine. So I think that may be an update type of thing. I mean, I have Sony and Nikon, but only want to stay with one. Frustrating debate, yeah. One thing I like about full frame is the batteries are bigger. Are they? That's not a full frame. That's probably DSLR versus mirrorless. But even that's not full frame. So like when I was on the 6D, all those old DSLRs, the batteries lasted forever. If you're comparing that to a mirrorless camera, that's more different technology. That doesn't really have anything to do with full frame. Really boils down to which system gives you the most pleasing results. Which camera system, exactly. Whatever camera system feels and works for you, and then that's it. That's why I always hate like, what camera is better? Which camera would you use? I'd use the camera that you like. No camera is gonna be better than another camera. Like, it's just what it is. Especially nowadays, cameras are absolutely amazing. So if you like it and it works for you, and that's what happened. Like the first time I held a Fuji, it felt right. Having the aperture on the lens and using it kind of like a film camera, it felt right. It just worked. It made me love shooting photos again. and it's small, so it didn't destroy my back on wedding days. I liked it, and that's why I shoot Fujifilm. I get that question all the time. Why did you choose Fujifilm? It's crop. I didn't care that it was cropped. I liked the camera system and the cameras. It just felt right. And I love the way the photos look coming off the camera too. Just the colors, and it just looked right. I like it. Make a photo session with full frame, record video of editing it, but without mentioning that it's full frame. Yeah. Let's see what everyone thinks. These photos must be better. John, you've improved by leaps and bounds. But that is it for me. I'm pretty much done. Even this, look at this white balance. It's so green. If I was taking a photo right now, I would magenta everything. But yeah, I'm pretty much done fixing all my photos, and then I'm gonna export them off the stream. So yeah, that was a nice little short stream. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget to go to the link of my next stream coming up at the end of the month, where I'll be editing y'all's photos in Capture One. This will be kind of the last test of using Capture One, the natural fills preset in Capture One. And if it goes well on the stream and I can get everything matched up the way I liked it, I'll be releasing the natural fills preset for Capture One very, very soon. Hopefully next month sometime. So don't forget to submit your photos so I can test that out. I want all camera systems. I need to get it working. Food is here. It's not yet, but it should be soon. And I'm hungry. But thank you all for hanging out on the channel again. It's always fun being able to stream and have you all hang out and ask me questions and just talk shop. Make sure you tell your friends, tell all your photography friends, subscribe for more. And yeah, thanks again. I will catch you all next time. All right.